welcome everybody on our first show here in Becketts. We came from Krakow, just to entertain you, though actually none of us are from Krakow, but that's another question. We are the Krakow Comedy Club, which means KKK, so we should change the name, I think. So, I am Tibor, I am actually from Hungary. I am going to be your host for you today. We have three very talented, very experienced comedians here. Well, they're sneaking around now. So, let's get started. My name is... that's interesting.
I set the level.
So, anyway. Some technical issues. Okay, get mine. So, my name is Tibor, which is a very normal name actually in Hungary. I had to realize that it's not that normal in other countries. For example, I was in London with my friend, and I met an Irish girl, and she was like, "Hey, so what's your name?" Like, "Hey, Tibor, yeah, but you have like a short form, like a nickname or something?" And I said, "Yeah, you can call me TB." And she said, like, "Yeah, let's not do that." Why? Because TB is an abbreviation for tuberculosis. Yeah. I have a quick question. Anybody here was on the show yesterday? No? No, not one person. Okay, so, great. Because we had a show actually yesterday too. I'm from Hungary, as I mentioned, which is kind of interesting, and also it's a bit difficult to explain. Sometimes, like some people don't even know where the country is, so I'm a historian, so I try to get like a historical point of view. So I was like, it was like before, like 100 years ago, it was Austro-Hungarian Empire, and it's always like, I'm using this word, empire, like Hungary is an empire. Yeah. Like we were an empire, like we had a colony, a small island 20 kilometers away from the North Pole. Its population, 20 seals, 2 polar bears, and maybe some Eskimos, and they lost the way. So, yeah. I've been living in Poland for quite a while, and I'm trying to learn Polish as well, actually. It's kind of like, okay, like heads up, Hungarian is really difficult language, but you know, I'm Hungarian, so it's not that difficult for me, usually. And I'm learning Polish, and there's like a book for that, which is called 4 Weeks in Polish. I've been living there for 7 years. I haven't finished that book yet. So, also, the Hungarian language itself is kind of interesting. Every time I say that I'm a Hungarian, there's one guy who says that, "Oh yeah, I know one word in Hungarian." Can you guess which word is that? Yeah, I've heard it. Köszönöm, and it's egészségedre. Egészségedre. And I know that. I know that 99% of people, they will use that word. But I'm also sadistic, so I'm asking like, okay, which is the word? And it's like, action. Fuck it, let's just drink. Also, it can be like a bit dangerous, like interesting, these Polish-Hungarian words, because I work at a corporate, and my colleague looked at me like in a strange way, and I didn't know why. And she started to ask, like, okay, it's like, only you are weird or all the Hungarians? Like, why are you asking? Because I use the word, you know, the word, oh, actually, one more question. How many Hungarians in the room? Okay, we have to cool. Can you clap your hands? It's not that many, but you didn't clap. You know the word like igen, yeah? Igen, yes, igen. Yes, and I kept using that. Kept using that word, and my colleague was like, because I never use like igen, I just say igen, like 3 times fast. And my colleague was like, yeah, but you are rude, why? Because you kept saying nigga. No, I'm not. It's my language. It's not my fault. Come on. Also, like, you know, I'm talking with my Polish friend, and I'm talking a lot about my friends. And he asked me, like, okay, so it's interesting how the word friend is in Hungarian. I said, like, barát. And he started to laugh, like, barát? Yeah? No, I'm not from Kazakhstan. I'm from Hungary. So. Also, if I'm talking about Hungarian or Polish language, there's one word which is kind of interesting for me, because I had a Polish girlfriend in the past, and there is one Polish word which means kiss, and this word is buzi. You know what it means in Hungarian, right? Not very nice. So when she told me, like, she asked me to give her a kiss, actually, that was a good. Daj mi buzi. Yeah, weird. Anyway, so, kind of weird introduction, actually. I would like to welcome on stage our first comedian, who's definitely not gay, as far as I know. So, welcome on stage the first, first comedian. He's from Australia, and he did yesterday scuba diving exam, as I remember. So I have every right to say that he's from down under. Welcome on the stage, Ashley Keith.
He's not gay, as far as I know. Thank you, that was a wonderful introduction to him. One of the best introductions I think I've had. So before we begin, just a quick question. Do we have any Polish speakers here this evening? Yeah, dobre wieczór, guys. Any Spanish speakers here this evening? Ooh, quite a few. Buenos noches, guys. Any Australians or Kiwis in the audience? No, thank fuck for that. Everywhere, especially at Irish bars. I'm pretty sure every Irish bar needs at least one Australian to have an operating licence. So I caught the Polski bus down yesterday from Krakow to come and perform tonight. I screwed up my ticketing, actually, and I arrived about 5 minutes before the bus was supposed to leave. I showed the guy my ticket on my phone. He's looking at it. He doesn't speak English, I don't speak Polish. We couldn't find it, and eventually we figured out the problem was I booked tickets for the week before for the Polski bus. So I looked at that, and the bus was leaving in about 2 minutes. So I was like, fuck. And he looks at me and he just says, yes, fuck. It turns out he does speak English, at least 2 words. So my name is Ashley Keith. For those of you who haven't seen me before, I will tell you the same thing I tell girls before sex. Prepare to be disappointed. But unlike sex, there's not going to be 40 minutes of me crying after the sex. So you guys are in for a bit of a treat. So my name is Ashley Keith. Ashley is a girl's name in Europe. I know this now. I was checking into a hostel and the lady behind the counter said to me, "You're Ashley." I said, "Yes." She said that Ashley's a girl's name. I said, "Yes." She said, "We've checked you into a 6-bed all-girls dorm." I said, "Yes." She said, "There's going to be an issue here." I said, "If the issue is you need me to sleep with 5 girls, I'm happy to give it my best shot." As well, being Australian, I've been living in Krakow for 3 years. I only speak English, and as you can tell by my accent, I struggle at that. But depending on who you ask, my language skills are pretty good. I got stopped by an American lady in the street recently who asked for directions. I said, "Oh, you go left, you go right, you go straight, it's down the end of the street." She said, "Oh, thank you. By the way, your English is really good." I said, "I fucking hope so." But Americans are weird. Americans want everything, like a particular American version of everything for themselves. I mean, these days they even have the American walking tours, which are the ones with the segways. But so, also as well, my language skills aren't great, as I say. Typically what happens, I've been living in Krakow for 3 years. My Polish is terrible. I'm fully aware of this. You ask me how my Polish is, and I always give the same response. I'm Polish. Nie mówię po polsku, jestem z Australii, jestem głupi. Which, for those of you who don't speak Polish, means I'm from Australia, I'm stupid, and I don't speak English. I don't speak Polish. And Polish people always give me the same response. They always look at me and say, "You're not stupid, you're just very slow." Which is nice, I think. But my favourite thing about living in Poland are Polish weddings. Show of hands if you've been to a Polish wedding before. Not many. Okay, everyone else, you guys need to, the people that just put their hands up, go and make friends with them. Go to a Polish wedding, you don't have to stay friends, just go to the wedding. You can drop them afterwards, it's fine. It's worth it. Polish weddings are amazing. They go for 2 days, they go for 3 days, they go for 4 days. And it's just a wonderful occasion. My favourite person at a Polish wedding is the guy that walks around, and all he does for 2 days, all his job is to walk around with a big basket and just take empty vodka bottles off tables and just put a full one down. It's like an adult version of Santa Claus. It gives people the ability to sing and to dance, and in the case of like drunken uncles, to try and speak English. But I did have one drunken uncle come up to me and try and speak to me in Polish at about 2 in the morning, and I was like, nie mówię po polsku, so he switched to German. Nie spreche Deutsch, so he switches to Russian. I'm like, motherfucker, come on, if I don't speak Polish and I don't speak German, why would I speak Russian? But typically what does happen though at weddings, I get introduced and say, oh, this is Ashley, he's from Australia, he speaks English. And everyone says, oh, that's great, and then fucks off. Don't want to talk to me, which is fair enough, I understand. I should be learning Polish rather than them speaking English. But this changes about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning when everyone's drunk off their ass, they've danced to disco polo, all of a sudden they want to practice their English, and I'm the only native English speaker there. So I've got 2 rows of Polish people just ask me questions about kangaroos all of a sudden. It's ridiculous. So a lot of people do ask me why I moved to Poland, and I tell them the truth. I've always wanted to be rejected by much better looking women. But I did originally move there for a girl, which is, it's quite often the case, especially Poland, same here in Hungary as well, that the women are beautiful, they're wonderful and intelligent, and the guys are just very fucking lucky. You never see girls move here for guys, it's always the other way around. But my girlfriend, I moved over to be with her, and the one thing I like about Poland, they buy each other a lot of flowers. It's very nice. You see lots of people on the trams and the buses walking around with flowers for their partner. It's wonderful. Because we don't do this in Australia. In Australia, we buy girls flowers on 3 occasions. Her birthday, Valentine's Day, and when she says yes to anal sex. Poland, they do it a lot more often, so I'm not sure whether they're having a lot more anal sex. But anyway, so I bought my girlfriend flowers, I take them home, I give them to her. She says, oh, thank you Ashley for the flowers, but these are the flowers you take in place on the grave of your dead relatives. Fair enough, it happens. The next time I go, I buy her tulips, I buy her 6, I take them home, I give them to her. She says, oh, thank you Ashley for the tulips, but you bought an even number, which is what you take in place on the grave of your dead relatives. I said, if I buy tulips a 3rd time and you don't like them, they're going on your grave. Because domestic abuse is funny. So I'm single now. And as part of being single, that means I'm on a single man diet. Do we have any single guys here in the audience this evening? Yeah? What's the diet like down the back there? Great. Exactly right, pizza. I'm doing exactly the same thing over here. That's not healthy, it will kill you by 40, but damn, it's easy, isn't it? So single man diet, which is terrible to be honest. Instead of having tomato soup, I normally just have hot water with ketchup in it. Instead of having something nice and healthy, or better for me like goulash, I normally just cry myself to sleep. That's not a joke, that's a desperate cry for help actually. But yeah, it is interesting as well, being single. And for me, in Australia we have this campaign that we learned during high school and during university. It's called No Means No. And basically what this campaign is, it means that if you're out with someone and they say no when you're trying to initiate something, and you say no, you don't try and, they say no, you don't try and force yourself upon them, you don't try and change their mind, you don't try and make them do something they don't want to do, and you definitely don't do it anyway even if they say no. In Poland, this doesn't exist. It's all happened to everyone. You're sitting there, it's Christmas time or it's Easter time, you're sitting at the table, and someone's mum or your auntie or your grandmother says, "Oh, would you like some more food?" And you say, "Oh no, thank you, I'm fine." And they say, "No, go on, have some more." And you say, "No." And they say, "Have some more." And then you go through this experience that you don't really want to have, and then you wake up the next morning and your head is all groggy and your belt has been removed and your stomach is full, and you realise you may have been violated in a way that you didn't exactly want to be consenting to. It's not good. Do we have anybody here studying social science at the moment? One person. I'm terribly sorry, my friends, social science is not a real science. Somebody needed to say it. The main difference, one is a pure science, the other is just pure bullshit. There's a few smaller differences as well. Pure science says for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. Social science says every time I swipe right on Tinder, nothing happens. As well, one thing that does irritate me, people who share motivational quotes on Facebook. I had one person share one to my wall the other day that said, "Loving someone who doesn't love you back is like waiting for a ship at the airport." I thought, no. Loving someone who doesn't love you back is like sharing a motivational quote on Facebook. It means you're a fucking idiot. As well, I seen a guy, a big neck beady guy walking around recently that had a t-shirt on that said, "Dip me in honey and throw me to the lesbians." Now, first of all, I'm not entirely sure if he knows what lesbians do and that he's not a part of that. But even if we were to hypothetically dip him in honey and throw him to the lesbians, he could probably get the same result by staying home and jerking off. He's just going to end up sticky and disappointed. But he's probably also the same sort of person that comments on porn videos. I like how the guys in the audience went, "Oh yeah, no, I know that." I don't know what possesses someone to log on and find a video of a chick being fucked by a bunch of guys and then to leave a comment underneath. "Yeah, I'd totally fuck her." Well, thanks for letting me know. I was wondering which way you were going to go on that video, actually. I usually like my Yelp for porn reviews. But pornography does get a bad rap from people these days that say that it's degrading to women, that it creates unrealistic expectations, that it's not right that people fuck donkeys, all kinds of weird shit like that. But to me, pornography has actually been quite useful. It's taught me a number of things. It's taught me how to spell the word amateur correctly. It's taught me that the world's biggest gangbangs happen in the Czech Republic, which is great because now I have holiday plans. As well, some one-liners for you guys. You should never ask a girl if she's pregnant because maybe she's just fat. You should never ask a girl if she's German because maybe she's just ugly. Do we have any German girls in the audience tonight? No, I know that because you guys have been beautiful so far. I can count the number of times I've been to Chernobyl on one hand, 6. I had a friend recently that got Botox injections and I pointed this out to her. She did not look surprised. We can all agree you're a cat person or a dog person, but if you have more than 2 cats or more than 2 dogs, you're not a cat person, you're not a dog person, you're a lonely person. As well, I had a friend come and visit me. So I best grew up in what can be described as bumfuck nowhere in Australia. It's very racist, it's very sexist, it's very misogynist, it's very homophobic. I was kind of missing it, so I moved to Poland. So we grew up in bumfuck nowhere. It was his first time coming out, living in Australia. He wanted to come and visit me. I was living in the UK at the time. So when you go to the UK, you need to fill out an immigration form, and on that form it asks you all different details, how long you're staying, what's your address while you're there, are you a terrorist, how big's your dick, all these questions. I filled out the form for him, sent him the details, he just went, okay, that's fine, and completely ignored it. Just as a side note, when you arrive in the UK, if you want 7 hours of questioning and 2 internal cavity searches, here's your tip. In the bit where it has what's your address while residing in the UK, just write, I don't know. he wasn't happy after that. He arrived, he's like, well, this is bullshit, I just want to go get a beer. I was like, okay, fair enough. We'll go out and I'll take you out in Soho, which is London's biggest gay district. And he said, oh, I don't want to go to one of them gay bars. All right, challenge accepted. So take me out to this pub. It's got a good, strong English pub name, like the Cock and Balls, Dirty Taint. We go in, all the bartenders are shirtless. He doesn't say anything. We sit down, we get given a cocktail menu. We order our cocktails. They come over with a little umbrella with a straw in it. He doesn't say anything. It's a gay bar, clearly. After about an hour, he goes to the bathroom and comes back. This is a gay bar, isn't it? No shit. What gave it away? So I went in the bathroom, there's one of those gay flags in there. Sure enough, I went in the bathroom and hanging on the wall was a South African flag. I'm not entirely sure how he picked that one. As well, has anybody here done hallucinogenics, psychedelics, magic mushrooms, LSD before? Nope, just me. It's interesting. The first time I did magic mushrooms, I was with a group of friends. We didn't know how many to take, so I was like, yeah, we'll grab a handful, that'll be enough. It's too much, I can tell you that now. I had a big come up, and I suddenly realised what I needed to be doing for the rest of the night, which was laying face down on the carpet. So as I'm laying there for 2 hours, getting carpet burn on one side of my face, I went through a wide variety of different experiences. And it was at that point that I realised not who I am, but what I am. And it was at that point I realised I am actually a ship. More specifically, I was the Titanic. So I went through the wide variety of emotions that you can imagine a ship goes through. The excitement of being built in port, the exhilaration of steaming out into an open ocean. And then being the Titanic, I slowly started getting this ominous feeling like something bad was about to happen. And as I can feel myself breaking in half and slowly sinking below the waves, I can feel the warm water washing over my body. But the problem is, this is the Atlantic Ocean, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. That water isn't supposed to be warm, it's supposed to be ice cold. Because at that point I realised I'd pissed myself. I'm assuming that's what they mean when they say don't do drugs. They did leave that one out though. So we'll leave you guys this evening with a joke. In the interest of disclosure, it's not my joke, but as far as I can tell, it doesn't belong to any one comedian, which makes it fair game. Also in the interest of disclosure, this joke is fucking terrible, but that's why I like it, so we'll give it a go. A man walks into a bank holding a big bag of money, and he sees the line for the teller. And he drops the bag of money and he walks out. And his friends say to him, why didn't you deposit the money? He says, well, because I hate lines, I can't do lines. The next day he walks into a hotel and he's got his luggage with him. He sees the line for the receptionist and he drops his bag and he walks out. And his friends say to him, why didn't you check into the hotel? Why did you drop your luggage and walk out? He says, well, because I can't do lines, I hate lines. And then the next day they see him walking around and he's holding a big bowl of punch. And they're like, why are you holding a big bowl of punch? He said, well, because there was no punch line. I told you that joke was going to be fucking terrible. I told you, and it went there anyway. That is me done for this evening. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And thank you back over to your wonderful lady service as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, one more time for Ashley Keith. Put your hands together. I still don't know if that joke is like so good or so bad. I have to think about it. First of all, I didn't mention that this event is for free, but we accept obviously donations. It's up to you. Pay as you want event. How much you think? It can be 0, it can be whatever you want. Because somehow we have to pay the ticket to get back to Krakow, so... one more thing, there will be a break after our next performance, so you can refill your beer or like your stomach or whatever you want. Actually, I have a bit of a problem with that because if I drink, I speak better English. If I don't drink, I remember what I wanted to say actually. So let's make an experiment. Cheers. So, how are you feeling, Jeremy? Are you feeling good? Tired? And Sunday tomorrow you have to go to work, I guess. So because I have with this weather, actually, I have a bit of a problem. It's kind of hard to sleep for me. I don't know why. And there is something which I call like the 3 o'clock thoughts. When you cannot sleep and your brain just starts to like throw at you like stupid ideas or like thoughts. For example, I saw on Facebook an event. It was called a surprise ad hoc party a week before the event. I think that posting this kind of event on Facebook just makes all of these words meaningless. Surprise ad hoc party a week before on Facebook. Or sounds like there are some Polish people here, yeah? Yeah? Oh. Yeah. Because there is a Polish song, Stolat, and Polish people sing it like every time. It means basically, if I'm correct, you're wishing the person to live 100 years old, like long. And I'm always curious, what happens, like you're wishing the person to live 100 years, if it's your grandma who's got the 99th birthday. Like, grandma, it was a good round, but the song is for 100 years, so... or like thoughts like, for example, the guy who was the first guy who realized that you can drink milk from a cow. And what was he doing with the cow when he realized that? So, or, I'm a historian, so some of these thoughts are connected to history. For example, the Japanese pilots, these kamikaze pilots in the Second World War, they wore a helmet. Think about it a bit. Why? Is it like a suicide mission? By the way, that's true. There was a Japanese pilot, kamikaze pilot, who went to a mission 9 times. I'm not sure, but like a suicide mission generally should, like, it's a one-time thing. But at the end of the story is that his captain, his officer, shot him. Which is like sad, but on the other hand, I kind of understand it. I mean, he went to a suicide mission and kept coming back like a freaking boomerang. So, as I mentioned already, I live in Poland, and you can ask like, why? Which would be a very good question actually. I haven't figured that out. I work for a corporate, and generally speaking, it's okay, like multinational companies, it's okay. But there's one day which is really cool, company picnic. Free food, free drinks, what not to like. I just realized that because there's free alcohol, there's always one guy who is like, after the bar opens, in half an hour, is like shit-faced drunk and cannot stop talking about his bad decisions in life. And I realized that that person is actually me. Yeah. I was always curious how it looks like, this kind of company picnics for other companies. Like, I know for IKEA, they just throw you a bunch of wood and just build your own whole house. By the way, one item is missing. I will not tell you which one. So, and also, there was like 5 years ago about that, we had a company picnic also like free drinks, free beer, which is cool. But I don't know what the HR people were thinking, because they organized this free beer event on a shooting range. Free alcohol and handguns. What can go wrong? Worst case scenario, we have a new chapter for the Hunger Games. So, and with this, I would like to introduce our next comedian. He is from Poland. He could speak a bit of Hungarian, as I've heard actually today, and studying international relations. I hear him talk a little more about himself, so put it together for Kamil Grichka. Kamil, get on the stage.
Hello everybody, hello, how are you doing? Good? Enjoying the comedy so far? It's great to be here in Budapest. I love being in Budapest. It's a really great city, it's a beautiful city. I'm really impressed. And also, it's kind of easy to be in Hungary when you're Polish, just like it is when you're Hungarian in Poland, because Poland and Hungary, we have this traditional friendship. I don't know how many of you... There aren't many Hungarians here, I can tell. But we have this traditional friendship between Poland and Hungary. So we have the saying, Polak węgiel, dwa bratanki, and in Hungarian it's Lędziel Modzior, Kate Jobola. Yes, is that right? Yeah, Hungarians confirming. Two of them in the room. Yeah, I think as nations we are kind of similar in many ways. We have this need for freedom and, you know, similar history. And we both have really fucked up languages. That definitely very fucked up. Like, I wish I could say my language is the most fucked up because I'm Polish. But Hungarian is really fucked up. Like Tibor mentioned, I tried learning some Hungarian before, and I like even bought a CD. And I made my flatmate listen to some Hungarian, and I made him made him listen to some Hungarian, and then his reaction was priceless. It was just silence, and after a while he says, "This sounds like all the languages that I have ever heard throughout my life, all mixed in one language." And I think it's a pretty accurate description of Hungarian, you know. It's a really weird language. Also, the situation in Poland is kind of similar in many ways. Because in Hungary there's Viktor Orban, the prime minister, and in Poland we have Jarosław Kaczyński. So this is a Polish politician, and let me describe it to you. Those who don't know, he's not the prime minister, he's not the president, he's just an MP, but he has all the power. Okay, and this is a guy who has no wife, no girlfriend, no children. He has no bank account, no boyfriend, that we know of yet, and he only has a cat. Okay, so this is a guy who just plans to do evil things with a cat sitting on his lap. We're basically talking about a Bond villain, okay? And I was watching the news with my dad. And there was like a conference between Viktor Orban and Jarosław Kaczyński. And so they came out of the conference, and Jarosław Kaczyński was very happy. And when he's happy, he looks something like this. This is what he looks like. So I was watching that with my dad, and then something weird happened. Like, my dad turned to me, looked me straight in the eye, and he said something like this. "I think they fucked each other." That was really weird. It was the first time I ever discussed gay sex with my dad. Hopefully the last time. Yeah, let me tell you something. Do you guys have language exchanges here in Hungary? I used to go to a lot of language exchanges. I don't go anymore because some people are just weird and awkward. Not me, obviously. I am not awkward. At all. But some people are. And I met this girl at a language meeting, and she was a law student. How do you recognize a law student? Well, it's very simple. They always tell you about it straight away. Like, I came to this meeting and I said, "Sorry, is this seat taken?" And she said, "No, it's not. By the way, I'm a law student." And, well, I got talking to her and I said, "So, how do you like the language meeting?" And she said, "No, I don't like it, because there aren't many native speakers here." And I said, "What do you mean there are no native speakers? Like, everybody is a native speaker. When you think about it, everybody is a native speaker of their own language. Like, I'm a native speaker of my language, you're a native speaker of yours." And she said, "Yeah, but there are no native speakers of the language that I'm learning." That was really confusing because as a lawyer, I think she said that she's learning Latin. And I thought, how do you expect to find a Latin native speaker at a language meeting? Well, the only possible explanation is you would have to go back in time. Time traveling is the only reason. And anyway, she kind of seemed the type of girl that, you know, only talks to native speakers not to improve her language, but in order to date them. And I developed a list of do's and don'ts of dating a Roman soldier. Because I think she would date a Roman soldier. You know why? Because ladies love uniforms, you know. And Roman soldiers, they had cool uniforms, they had long swords, very sharp I had to wear. And I developed a couple of lists of do's and don'ts of dating a Roman soldier. First of all, if you go back in time and you meet a you meet a guy who speaks with an Australian accent and is a gladiator, this is not a Roman soldier. This is an imposter. It's just an Australian actor, okay? That's the very first thing. Secondly, how do you dress to a date like this? Well, my answer is just simple, plain white tunic, nothing special, you know. But there are a couple of things you shouldn't do, like wear socks and sandals. That one thing hasn't changed throughout history. How do you greet a Roman soldier? I would say a simple Roman salute is fine. A kiss on the cheek is equally okay. So I had these thoughts on how to date Roman soldiers. And also, let me tell you something about Poland. Poland is a very Catholic country. So at school we had religion classes. We had religion classes, and a friend of mine, I loved him. He was a great guy because he would always get away with saying very silly things. He could always say it, and he could get away with it because the teacher was attracted to him, okay? And I should say at this point that the teacher was not a priest, because we were, what? We were like 12 at the time, so way too old for the priest to like us. But I remember the first lesson. She said, "Listen, tell me, what do you know about Jesus from Nazareth?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, Jesus. I know the guy. Jesus, not many people know this, but Jesus was actually the first surfer. Surfing was very popular at the time in the Middle East. Only, there were a couple of problems, because they didn't have boards back then. But Jesus had an answer to it. Because he used to walk on the water instead. That's how good he was. And that's why people called him master or teacher. There were a couple of problems, because back then there was no Mountain Dew. So he had to turn water into wine instead. But Jesus is actually one of the figures I really like, I must say. Because some people like to make fun of religion, you know. And I'm Polish. I don't accept it. You cannot make fun of religion. And some people make up these bullshit religions, you know? Like the Star Wars religion, Jedi, something like this. This is bullshit. A religion has to start in the Middle East. It has to be like somebody like Jesus, who's like progressive, cool guy, long hair, used to hang out with his dudes, mates. They were called apostles at the time. You know, one of them was a bit of a dick, but you know, it happens. We all have friends that are dicks. But I don't like it, you know. I don't like bullshit religions like this. You can call me when there is a religion made up of Mountain Dew drinkers, where they just meet and drink Mountain Dew. You know. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I like Mountain Dew, okay? I would also like to say that this performance is not sponsored by Mountain Dew. Yeah, what can I say? Poland is a country where people are obsessed with history. Obsessed with history. We love it. And so, normally, when you're a teenager, when you're young, you make up puns about sex. That's what you make puns about. But in Poland, you make puns about the Second World War, obviously. And I remember at school, I was really bad at maths. I could not handle it. And there was a difficult exercise that we had. And I didn't know what was going on, and I wanted to ask the teacher a perfectly innocent question. So I said, "Excuse me, what is the final solution?" Well, that joke works in Krakow. But we love Holocaust jokes. You not so much. Donald Trump came to for a visit to Poland, and again, he just talked about Polish history, and Polish people loved it. And Donald Trump went, "Polish people are beautiful people. I love Polish people. Polish people are amazing, beautiful, wonderful. Poland is a beautiful country. It's a wonderful. It's the best country I have seen. Okay, and I know all the countries. Okay, and believe me, I know many countries. I know so many countries. I know all of them. And Poland is tremendous. It's wonderful. It has great people. Polish people are great. America loves you. We love you. We're your friends." And Polish people went nuts because they loved it, because he talked about Polish history for hours. And I must say, I already miss Barack Obama, because I think Barack Obama was pretty cool. And who thinks Obama was cool? By a round of applause. Don't raise your hands. Yeah. Obama was pretty cool, I think. I think he was so cool because he was so confident, and he could really get away with saying anything. Like, I feel Barack Obama could come out and say, "Fellow Americans, Michelle and I have decided to adopt a midget. This will be a great midget for America. We want all midget Americans to feel safe and respected in this country. Thank you very much, and God bless America." It was Barack Obama who's pretty cool, and Barack Obama could very well adopt a midget and get away with it. But if there ever was a midget in the White House, and the president was Bill Clinton, it would be a little bit different. It would be a different explanation, you know. It would be something like, "Hi, my name is Bill. Listen, folks, when I said some time ago in the Congress that I did not have sexual relations with a midget, I was not exactly telling the truth. I did, in fact, receive oral pleasure from this little fella, but I do not consider getting a blowjob to be a sexual relation. It is also not true that I'm getting one right now as I'm speaking to you. Oh, baby, that's right, do it like this, yeah." That's Bill Clinton in the White House. I like watching the TV, I must say. I'm a lazy person. I just watch a lot of TV. Anything there is on the TV, I can watch it. I love sports, but I also watch a lot of science channels. But the problem is, I'm not really into science, you know? I don't like science. Luckily. I don't know how it works here in Hungary. But in Poland, when we have these science channels like National Geographic, Discovery Channel and stuff like this, all they have is programs about Hitler and aliens. That's all they have. Hitler and aliens. And these are two of my favorite subjects. I could just watch it all day, you know? All day. It's great. I could just sit around and watch the TV all day. My favorite ones are those that combine the two and say that Hitler was actually an alien. Those are my favorite programs. But I also like one science program that is actually about science. But there's only one reason for this. There's this science program that is narrated by Morgan Freeman. And I just love his voice. I find it soothing. So when he says, "Hello, my name is Morgan Freeman. Whatever I say sounds intelligent and wise, and you shall accept it. Did you know, for example, that when you close your eyes, you don't see shit? When you open your eyes again, you can see perfectly well. This is the power of science." Morgan Freeman is pretty cool, isn't he? And there's also another program I loved watching, but I hate it at the same time. You know, there's this program, 1,000 Ways to Die. I don't know if you know this. Anybody knows this program? Yeah. It's kind of weird because well, what they do is they show interesting ways that people die. And my initial thought was like, because I had this thought, I wanted to die in a spectacular way. You know, I like showing off, so I'd like my death to be something to be celebrated, you know, like the way I died would be interesting for people. So my idea was to make at least top 10 of that program. But what I didn't like about this program is that they always make it look as if the person that died deserved it. So there's always this guy with a comment like, "This guy was a regular liar. He forgot to feed his hamster for 2 days. On top of that, he was an Adam Sandler fan." I mean, if you're an Adam Sandler fan, you actually deserve to die. But that's beside my point. My point is that I would like my death to be so spectacular that Quentin Tarantino would have to make a movie about it. And there would be questions, so Quentin, how did you come up with the idea? And Quentin would be like, we got the story for the script from a guy from Poland, alright? And when I read about his story, alright, his death was just so magnificent that I just couldn't help it, and I had to make a movie about it. You know, and the way his brain scattered all over the place, it was just beautiful. That's how wonderful I would like my death to be. And I think talking about your own death is the best way to finish a standard performance, especially when you were dying on stage most of these performances that I was today. But thank you very much, you've been wonderful. Thanks a lot.
That was something. It's very good with voices. As I mentioned, there will be a break, so now is the time, I think, for refill your beer, go to toilet, or do whatever you want to do, go for a smoke. 5 minutes, we will be back with another comedian on the stage. So, go! So, what can I talk about? A lot of you actually are not Hungarians, I realized. It's kind of interesting to live in another country. Like, even like normal signs can be like interesting. For example, I live in Poland, and you know the company Toy, I guess. Yeah, it's a big relief to have this company. Yeah? And in Poland, I saw a truck. It was written there, Toy, #1 in Poland. I think they are #2 as well, actually. Or I saw the sign, like I was walking the street in Krakow, and I saw like, donate blood. Really good cause, please do that, it's a noble cause. I can't really do that because it means that I should stop drinking, so yeah. But really, it's a good cause. Strange thing that I kept walking and I saw like smaller letters, donate blood, competition. Is it real? Like, is it a healthy competition? Like, half a more liter, I want to win this like fucking frying pan. So, where's this stuff? Like, I don't know, livers, now 2 for 1. Or, I don't know. So, it's kind of interesting. I was in Spain like 2 weeks ago, much better weather. And I used the underground, the metro, subway, whatever you call it. I used the underground, and it was really like a quite modern one. But actually my level of like need is not really that much. I just want the underground to open the door where it should, and it should burn down, like in Budapest it does. And it was really nice. They said that if you want to have information about the communication, about transport, then you can get like an application, like Choose Point 3. It's very cool. If you wanted the English, the problem is that they said all of this in Spanish. Not really reach the audience, I guess. Also, I downloaded a dictionary because my Spanish is not really that good. So I downloaded a PDF. It's like 3 pages long, like 15 most important sentences every situation. And I realized that this like dictionary is kind of useless. Girls are on social media. Well, you can tweet about us if you want. I have to read these sentences because they were like, I think, really weird, and I didn't use this dictionary actually, because, for example, situation, restaurant. First sentence, do you have alcohol? Most important sentence, fuck food allergy. Do you have alcohol here? Shopping. You are cheating me. We're in Spain, not in Gypsy camp. But, on the other hand, actually, yeah, I can understand, because you are cheating me can be used in a relationship chapter. And it's getting weirder because problems. Problems, I thought it's like, oh, I lost my wallet, I don't have my passport. No, that's totally different problem. Don't touch me. It starts to be a bit racist, isn't it? Like, you are cheating me, don't touch me. And the last one, which I did was like authority, like police and judges and stuff like that. And it starts with a sentence, I didn't do anything wrong. And this like part is like 8 sentences, like the 8 most important, and the 8 sentences, I confess. Within 8 sentences, they reached, I didn't do anything wrong, to I confess. It doesn't sound like Spain, it sounds like a freaking Russian prison. Well, that's all from me for now. I would like to hand out the stage for our next comedian, slash guitarist, singer sometimes, as I remember. Back on the stage, put it together for Damian Skóra. Damian, you're on the stage.
Thank you. And a round of applause for Thibaut, come on. No, you're just staying right there. It's my turn, buddy. Yeah, I will tell about the money, because we want your money, obviously. I really like how Thibaut wanted to silence you guys, and it seemed like he was looking for his lost dog. So, hi, my name is Damian, and I like children. But it's, okay, it's not what you think. I am not sexually attracted to them. I just really like fucking them. Okay, that was too much, but seriously, let's talk about children. Because I do like them, but in a different way. I like watching them. I like watching them like I like to watch bulldogs or monkeys. I mean, I always wanted to have a pet that I can laugh at. And children, they can be hella funny, especially like in a tram. But as long as it doesn't last more than a few stops, and as long as they're not your children. And when a child looks at me or speaks to me, that's even worse. In my case, I feel like what? Time stops, and this child, along with its parents, everybody on that tram, even the driver, they gets out of the cabin and they're all like, well, he looked at you. Entertain him. We're waiting. And I don't know how to talk to children. How should I approach them? Like an idiot? I mean, these are little human beings, not some One Direction fans. Okay, so maybe the opposite. Maybe should I approach him like an adult? But how would that conversation look like? Oh, hello, good sir. How's your day? Oh, well, thank you for asking. I have pooped. I have learned 2 new colors, and I have consumed my own nucleus, but so far nobody noticed. Splendid, truly splendid. And it's even worse when a child, because children, they don't even address you with regular words, like regular adult words. They make up shit, like "Bapinyanya." What's that? I mean, yeah, I'm taking a tram, and this child looks at me and says, "Bapinyanya." And after the third time, you gotta react. You cannot ignore him the whole time. So it's like, yeah, papi, and you did it. Jesus Christ. And it's even worse when they learn proper vocabulary, right? When they address it like, Mister! Mister! And the only thing I can do in this scenario is to answer him with this neurotic smile I have. And then I just cringe and check if he's still looking. He's still looking at me. Oh, shit. Okay, how many stops left? 9. Okay, fuck it, I'm getting off at this one. I want this horror to end. So, be honest, I'm the opposite of a pedophile. I'm afraid of children. I'm a pedophobe. And speaking of children, they have a pretty hard time. Like these days, times are tough for children. Because I've been watching a video on Facebook recently. This video was a part of a social campaign that was to raise awareness of children kidnappings. And on this video, a guy, he was on the playground, approaching children with a puppy on his hand. And he asked those children if they want to pet the puppy. They did. And if they want to pet more puppies, they should go with him. Because he has more puppies in his house. And you know what? All of those children went with him. After 15 seconds, they just grabbed with his hand and went the fuck away. Now, they didn't even... Did they forget all about their parents out there, their moms? This guy even tried to suggest, like, what about your mom? Nah, fuck it, there's no time. Those puppies aren't gonna pet themselves. So, let's sum up. What was this video supposed to do? Raise awareness on children kidnappings. What it actually did? A huge favor to all the pedophiles around the world. Because let's face it, they were kind of running out of options on how to fish children. Because you cannot talk on online chat rooms anymore, because you could be talking to a policeman. Or worse, an ugly child. And they're not asking about the candy anymore also. All they want now is cigarettes. And this stuff is expensive. Plus later on this child smells all the cigarettes and doesn't turn you on anymore. So yeah, tough times. And then this guy, he basically handed out a perfect solution on a tray. Puppies, of course, fucking puppies, that's it. He's probably receiving thank you letters from all over the world right now. Here's a picture of me with my 8 new chicks. Greetings from the basement, say hi girls. Hi. Okay, so I got here yesterday in the morning with a night bus, and it was hell. But Budapest made it up for me right after I stepped off the bus. 15 minutes passed. And I noticed that you guys have those paths for joggers, and they are soft and really nice to jog on. But one thing struck me. I noticed a guy going backwards, and not just for a second. I was watching him for a few minutes, and he was going backwards like this. And he was Asian. I don't know what if it has to do with anything, but yeah, he was Asian. He was walking like this. So I thought, what the fuck? Maybe, in his childhood, someone forgot to tell him that if he wants to go back, he can just turn around and walk straight. I mean, this is the way it's done here? Like, if you want to make an abortion, you just have to do this? Fucked up. So I did some traveling lately, and I wanted to improve my language skills, but I had no time, so I looked up those language hacks on the internet. Tips on how to improve your language skills in a short time. And probably you know most of the classics, like for example, if you want to speak good Italian, you have to do a lot of these, right? Also, probably many of you know if you want to speak good German, you need to sound like you're angry and give orders. It's also nice to casually mention attacking your neighbor from time to time. Probably not many of you know that if you want to speak good Spanish, you have to be way too loud in public space. and sound like you're constantly eating a hot burrito. If you want to speak good Russian, you need to, and yes, I will be speaking about vodka, of course. You need to, okay, let me share my scientific observation with you. When you picture a stereotypical Russian guy, like in the movies, he always talks with this voice, right? And guess what? They are not born this way. They're born with perfectly normal voice, but then they start drinking vodka. And that's only a part of an evil circle. Let me explain you how it works. Please repeat this name after me. Svetlana. Almost there. Let's do it with that voice. Svetlana. Yeah, better. So see, if you put your throat this way, vodka goes down easier. And that's where the circle closes. Also, if you want to not speak but write good Hungarian, all you need to do is to tease your cat and drop it on your keyboard. That's it. Or like my friend did once, she was cleaning her keyboard and forgot to close the text editor, and she got a fucking master thesis in Hungarian. So when I was young, I used to sync up foreign languages from movies, cartoons, PC games, and from songs. But for that purpose, I don't recommend porn, because, okay, thanks to that, I can fluently speak many affirmative sentences, but people give me that weird look when I say it. Would you like ketchup to those fries? Ah, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Also, it gave me a fucked up image of some foreign countries. For example, every time I go to Czech Republic, I think that I can just approach random women on the street and say, hello, are you model? You look like your mother. I will pay you 5,000 crowns if you let me do photo shoot in my apartment. You guys know what I'm saying, right? Public agent. As you can see, foreign languages are a bit of a difficult topic here in Poland. Back in Poland. And that's mainly because of our public education system. Because in Poland, no matter what language course you take, everything you learn during the first few lessons is how to name nationalities. And that's it. You don't know any of the basic stuff, like how to order food, how to call the police, tell directions, buy weed, none of the basic stuff. All you know is how to say where fucking Jorge is from. You know what I'm saying? This is Jorge. Jorge is from Argentina. Jorge is Argentinian. And the whole class repeats. This is Jean-Pierre. Jean-Pierre is from France. Jean-Pierre is French. This is Gachbech. Gachbech is from Afghanistan. Gachbech is a fucking terrorist. And then you move to some next level shit, negations. Anna is not from Australia. Anna is from Austria, which makes her Austrian. But you don't have to know that you're American. Okay, let me ask you a question. Are there any couples in here? Come on, you can admit it. Please, couples, please raise your hands. Cute. What a cute couple. You're so fat right now, you don't even imagine. Would you like to know, how did he find out that he's in love with you? I mean, did he tell you? Do you know? Let me tell you. And let me give you a hint. It's nothing like, oh, it was that night, you were standing by the window, you were wearing only my shirt, caressing your hair, covered all in moonlight, and watching those two dogs humping each other behind the dumpster. Nah, nothing like this. Also nothing like, oh, it was when you went abroad to take that language course in Germany. You were out only for a day, but I missed you. And I realized that I cannot live without you. Nah. Here's how it went. He displayed your picture on a monitor, jerked off to it, and when he finished, he looked at it again and realized that you still turn him on. Because this is how it works. You know what? You know the mechanism. First you're like, fuck, I'm gonna fucking destroy the pussy. Blah. Maybe some other time. This is the way it works. You have sex, then he turns around and goes to sleep, right? This is the way we're biologically designed by nature. I have placed my DNA safely. Now I can go to sleep. I mean, our organism doesn't know that this DNA is lying somewhere on the floor, wrapped in a piece of latex. Then you step on it with your foot. Like, really? You're disgusted with your own unborn children? This was your son you just crushed with your foot, you sick piece of shit. He could have been a doctor, saving people's lives, composer, I don't know, a fashion blogger, whatever. But anyway, this is how it works. You fuck and then he goes to sleep. It should actually be prescribed as a medicine for sleeping problems. You go to a doctor and say, Doc, I'm having some trouble falling asleep lately. Please help me. Say no more. Shh, you're getting a hooker. So what turns you on? Asians, blacks, MILFs? Well, actually, Doc, it's midgets. Midgets, whoa. Well, they're not refunded by the healthcare system. But my cousin's kind of short, I could pick you up. So. You know what? Yeah, so this is how it goes. I know you'd rather hear stuff like, it was when we were dancing at your cousin's wedding, looking each other in the eyes, R. Kelly song was playing. Nah. Or maybe it was R. Kelly, but with a song going like, I have been masturbating. Yeah, I've been jerking off. Looking at your picture that you took on that summer camp back in 2014. And then I thought to myself, damn, she's pretty. I even might go for a second round. This is how it goes. Actually, I read recently that you're supposed to masturbate before taking any major decision. And I can understand the mechanism behind it. First you'll be like, should I take this bus trip to Vienna? I mean, I've been there last year, but now it's 50% off. Let me jerk off on that. Yeah, just as I thought, totally fine without it. Or like you're considering buying a suit. It's nice, it would fit me, but I can barely afford it. You lock yourself in a changing room and decide. But you cannot take that too far, you know? You cannot like flip your dick out everywhere. You cannot go to the supermarket, stand in front of a shelf of cereal and think, well, do I need this extra large pack? It actually sounds like a helicopter, right? Sir, you in Heli 3, please stop what you're doing. Hey! I'm making a consumer decision here. Give me some space! Yeah, so that's it for the masturbation. Tibor is telling me that I have 5 minutes left, that's right? Can you last 10? Give me applause if you can last 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna share one story with you. I'm on Tinder. And it's a piece of shit. It's the worst game I have ever downloaded on my phone. I cannot beat any stage. I'm still stuck on level where you create your character. But I've been there for a long time, so I'm an experienced user. So let me give you some advice. I've been there so for long that every time a new profile pops up, I'm like, welcome to my world. First, never use Tinder while you're on a toilet. Because you might, I'm not saying you will, but there's a small percent chance that you might find love of your life there. Of course, in most cases, you will find truckloads of basic bitches. Let me explain you who a basic bitch is. Basic bitch would usually post pictures of herself in the mountains, bungee jumping with snowboard in one hand and CrossFit equipment in the other hand. Or pictures that look like she was just walking out of the room, but in the last second somebody called her and made a photo. What I'm saying? Like, Jessica. I think that soon they will be fucking twisting their necks like the girl from The Exorcist. How do I show my ass and my face at the same time? Yeah, let's call fucking demons to possess me. On top of that, they usually post some pointless quotes, like, "He who has a warm heart wakes up in the morning." In their description, you would usually find phrases like, "I like to read good books and drink good coffee." Wow, that's original. Where have you been all my life? You're probably also posting Beyoncé and Lady Gaga's songs on Facebook. Thank you for sharing that. Where would I find this music if it was not for you? Or radio, or TV, or any other fucking place where they play it every 15 seconds. Original. I mean, do they really think that drinking coffee is what makes them stand out from millions of people? It's like me writing, "I like to breathe air into my lungs. I also like to close my eyes and open them. I love it, I do it every day." But there's just this small percent chance that you will find this one girl who wrote, "I like fucking bad books and bad coffee." And then, during the day of your wedding, because obviously she was the one, you have a choice of either becoming a liar during the most important day of your life, or admitting in front of everybody that you met her while taking a dump. Oh, I remember like it was yesterday. It was a Sunday morning after a late night kebab. I still haven't wiped my ass just to remember. Tough choice. Second advice, watch out for profiles who have pictures of something other than themselves. You know, like animals, mountains and shit. Because boy, you can be fooled. I was fooled once. I got matched with a profile and there was a cute picture of a kitten. Like a baby cat, right? We chatted for a while, it was nice, so we set a date. And as I was waiting for her there, I was expecting, you know, a cat. And you know what came? A fucking llama. Can you believe it? A llama came and I'm like, what? How do you imagine this to work? How did you even get to the city center? Should be in a farm or something. They won't even let you into any club. And you know how she responded? And that's it for me, folks. Thank you.
Thank you. Getting on stage after that. Let's put together a game for Damian Skura. Yeah, great. I'm not sure if I should ask him about like dating advices actually, but that's another question. Guys, I know that as I said, it's a free event, but we accept donations. My colleague, friend is there with a bag and, well, as much as you want. It's up to you, 0, 100 millions of zlotys, or I don't know what. Euro, yeah, we accept bank cards as well. Yeah. So, by the way, actually, you know what are the 3 stages of being drunk? The first stage, when you became the watchmaker. Second stage, Superman. And the third stage, when you're Superman, but your friend asks you if you want another shot, the snake. So, and let me share my last funny story for tonight. I hope it will be funny. We hope it will be the last one. So I've been living in Krakow, in Poland, and talking about being drunk, I had a walk home about 3 o'clock in the morning, so I was not really that thirsty. And I bumped into 2 teenager guys, Polish guys. That time I couldn't speak any Polish, so they said something. I presume they said stop, so I stopped. Let's paraphrase that. When you are drunk, you don't stop. You just gradually lose your momentum and you end up like a fucked up Michael Jackson going up, or a ski jumper. Well, I stopped and they said something else, and I didn't understand, so I asked them very politely, please repeat the sentence because I don't understand that. Or in other words, I just said, what? And they were surprised because they were not prepared to talk English at 3 o'clock in the morning, or actually any other time of the year or a day. So they looked at each other, 5 minutes break, and they come up with an answer, height. I was a bit surprised, so I asked back, I think at that time it was totally normal to ask, why? They were not prepared as well that there would be a conversation after this word, a philosophical, like, why are we here, and actually, so they had to talk again with each other, and after another 5 minutes, they came up with the obvious answer, money. I had about, I don't know, 500 forints worth of zloty in my pocket, so, yeah, fuck it, I don't know shit, I just wanted to, give it to them, actually. I wouldn't fight over that. When 2 much bigger guys came along, these 2 teenagers looked at me, looked at each other, looked at me, and just said, good night, and they left. Now, I'm not sure if they tried to rob me, you can agree that was kind of like amateurish robbing. Also, I had to realize that when you want to rob somebody, it's not that easy. You have to speak foreign languages, you have to be good with communication. Well, problem-solving skill is a must. So basically, it looks like that you're applying for a position at a corporate. That's all from us. Like us on Facebook, follow the other events because we are planning to do it as a regular show. Hopefully, we'll see each other in December. If you like the show, clap your hands. Thank you.